Laila Baker is Regional Director for the Arab States at the UNFPA, the United Nations Sexual and Reproductive Health Agency. I spoke to her a little earlier. She is in Gaza at the moment. You might tell us a little bit about where you are at the moment and what you've seen there. You're talking to us from Gaza.
I've been here for 2 days, and you can probably hear from my voice what I've seen and witnessed is unparalleled to anything that I have ever witnessed in my 31 years with the United Nations, the majority of my time with humanitarian situations. It's absolutely shocking, appalling, catastrophic.
What are living conditions like for people that you've seen?
For the majority of people, the ceasefire has brought a little bit of respite. And you can feel it in the streets where people have started to walk. There's a little bit more food on the table. But the surroundings are daunting. It's as if I had walked into a horror movie. Buildings collapsed everywhere, water, an unknown source, flooding the streets, mud, dirt, dust, debris, stench, everywhere we went. And it was an overwhelming sense of destruction that was unparalleled even to some of the worst earthquakes I've seen. For example, the one that happened in Aleppo and in Turkey in 2023. This was far greater. And the fact that it comes at human-made hands makes it all the worse. For many of the women and girls that we saw today, the situation was even compounded by the fact that the lack of access to sanitary and hygiene products, which are in short supply and which UNFPA brings in as much as we possibly can. This was a critical need for many of those women and girls that we are concerned about.
What as well about pregnant women, new mothers giving birth, new babies? We've seen and heard horrifying stories about that. What did you see?
What I saw was an enormous amount of dedication from UNFPA and the partners on the ground who have turned the worst situations into a ray of hope. I visited the IMC field hospital today in the south, in Mawasi. They're going to set up another one in Gaza City. It provides reproductive health care, safe delivery for mothers, up to 65 births a day, and some of the worst times, many of them C-sections. So while the situation is appalling, and doctors and nurses and midwives and cleaners and everyone else is running around trying to make the best of the situation, they have been able to provide with UNFPA for at least some sense of dignity. We hoped that as the ceasefire holds and some hope comes to the community and the Palestinians living in Gaza, that we'll be able to begin to slowly rebuild that health system. And we depend on the ability to be able to access Gaza, to provide for care, and to get people and goods into the country unhindered, so that we can start to build that back.
And on that point, Laila, how is it at the moment for yourself or other agencies getting supplies in and out and getting personnel in and out?
The supplies are coming in, albeit at a much slower rate and conditional, which makes it very difficult. If we're talking even 800 trucks a day, there are 2 million people in Gaza. It's hardly enough to sustain a community, much less to rebuild it. But we are grateful for being able to use those supplies very judiciously and with our partners, like I said. In terms of people, my own situation is a bit precarious. I was supposed to return to Jerusalem today and was not allowed to return. They said they'll see tomorrow.
Laila Baker there, the Regional Director of the UNFPA, speaking to me from Gaza a little earlier. Well, US Palestinian